I've got some hard acts to follow tonight. There's been some really brilliant speeches, and that's, I think, well deserved for these two. They're just a great couple. My name's Greg Zanny. I don't know everybody in this room, but hopefully you haven't heard too many bad things about me. So if you have, I deny them all. They're not true. They're just not true. Chris, as he mentioned before, I've known for many, many years, and I think we met year 8. We were there in our little pulled-up socks and our blue shorts and all that at high school, and it was, he's been a good bloke that sort of got me through a lot of things in life, and he's a good friend. Stacey, we had the pleasure of meeting at Chris Griffiths' pool party, and I think that was 1999, as you mentioned before. And Chris was very proud to bring in the first girl in our group, I think it was, the first sort of serious girlfriend, and we're all sitting around going, oh my goodness, there's actually a girl here, what do we do? And I think since then they've really been the constant in my life, in terms of it's always just one word, it's Chris and Stacey. And you don't say Chris, you don't say Stacey, it's Chris and Stacey. And that sort of shows how strong they are, and that's 9 years already, and I think it'll go for many, many more years. So I'm just really glad to be here today. It's really nice to finally make it official, and it's been a beautiful day, a beautiful ceremony, and just beautiful for them, and they really deserve that. And I hope it's something that they remember for the rest of their lives. So I've known these dudes for a while. I think I've made some keen observations as we've sort of gone over 9 years. So what can I tell you about Chris and Tracy? Stacey? What are you talking? Oh, sorry. Chris is pretty soft, and he's really a bit of a girl, I think. I suppose that's number one. He has a tendency to get injured, and I found this quite ironic because I literally have this on my page. Injuries. There was one where maybe he was moving a couch, I think it was, with Dave, funnily enough. And pushing. Yeah, Dave was sort of pushing, and Chris sort of got his toe caught under the end and was hobbling around for about 2 months with this poor wussy foot that was all black or something. I don't even know. It's pretty soft. So basically he's soft. Then we had up the farm. We had a little trip up to my parents' farm with some friends, and he's on the motorbike, and there may have been 4 or 5 other people on this quad bike. Sure. The girl driving it may have been drunk. Sure, a lot of things. But he fell off, and he fell on his hip, and he's just got this hip, and he's wandering around. Oh, my hip. Poor little hip. Then we go hiking to Bluff Knoll. Hiking up Bluff Knoll, me and Dave, hours ahead of him. We're practically up the top. Chris, oh my goodness, this is so hard. And then he finishes off today with the absolute best one he could ever do. Nobody else could do this apart from Chris. We're sitting down, just had his hair cut and everything, and finished up for today, looking all pretty as he likes to. And he's sitting there, and he's moved the table out of the way to get sort of the hairdresser, Vicky, was helping him out and everything. So he's bringing back the table. So he's pulling this big, heavy Jarrah table, really smart on your wedding day, bare feet and all. So he pulls it up. Bang, smashes his whole toenail off his foot, pouring blood everywhere. We're all sitting there going, he's looking very white. Is he having second thoughts? Then the gushing blood on the floor was sort of the indicator, and I think this probably gives you a good idea of where we've been today. That's Chris's hospital bracelet. Journal up emergency. We may have been there 3 hours before we arrived here, so thank you to everybody there who fixed him up. There was some minor amputation required. Stacey will find out about that later. Chris can't drive. Observation number 2. I think I've had. I always like to laugh when he sort of rings up and he's a bit sheepish, and he's like, kind of might have hit somebody in the rear end. Adamant there's no brake lights. Adamant he wasn't following 4 metres behind them at 100 k's an hour. We've had front enders where we've been in the median islands pulling out, and I wasn't asleep. I wasn't not paying attention, and just have the front of your car taken off, all that sort of stuff. But my favourite one has always been in his Corona when he was on his P plates going to work. And if you're running late for work and it's wet, you probably don't go around a 90-degree corner at sort of 70 or 80 k's an hour and plough into a traffic light. Chris is a slacker. Maths competition, I think year 10. Was it year 10? 11, sorry. And he comes back and the results come back in and he goes, I beat you. I'm like, how could you possibly beat?
Top in the year, thank you.
Top in the year, out of all the people in the year. And I kind of had got that maybe a few years before that and that sort of thing. And I'd sort of gone, I wonder how he did this. And then he sort of told me the truth a couple of years ago and he said, yeah, I kind of copied your answers and then guessed a few on top, so cheeky bugger. And I suppose the last sort of, there's a couple of observations. One is that me and Dave, teetotalers by trade and tradition, certainly have been run awry by Chris's bad influence. He's just an alcoholic, really. And I suppose the other one, I think, is just from his Bucks day. I've never really seen a groom insist on wearing a pink dress. Like, normally you sort of... I'll stop it now. The truth is that Chris is one of my best mates, and he's a champion. He's a smart cookie, and he's always a challenge. Boy, is he a challenge sometimes. But he's great for a chat. And we've had many a chat out on the verge at 2 a.m. when we've been sort of wanting to talk about something, whether it be girls or where we're going with our lives or what we're doing, or usually girls. But yeah, just to bounce ideas and thoughts off him has been really good. And even last night we were up to 2 a.m. just having a chat, and I'm just really glad that we can have a good chat and work some things out, and he helps me out with stuff that I'm doing. IT issues, boy, my computer would not work if Chris wasn't there. And just, I love about him the commitment that he has to Stacey. He moved to Katanning for 3 years. I think it was 3 years, almost. Yeah, a little bit less. But yeah, just to be with his girlfriend, and that's he picked up his whole life and moved down there, and I think that's something to be admired and shows the strength of their relationship. And Stacey, I can't say a bad thing about her because she's a really nice girl, and she just looks after everybody in her life and looks after her kids at school, and is a beautiful cook and keeps a beautiful house, and she's great for Chris, and he's very lucky to have found her. I think, and just the amazing ability to put up with us bozos. Like, we've been around, and there hasn't always been girls in the beginning that we've been with, and she's put up with that. And I think Brownlee was the first one to get his act into gear and find a vet as well. So, but yeah, just great to have a chat with. And even as Chris said, if she is speaking, maybe just a little over her quota of 50% of the words. But hey, it's good to have a chat with her. And yeah, just the same from her. She's very committed to everything she does, and that absolutely includes Chris. So that's a nice, happy, smiley person that I just love being around. And they really do fit well together. They just fit perfectly. And I wish them every happiness as their relationship continues to grow, and maybe they bring little Chris and Stacey's. Hopefully they're more Stacey-like than Chris. and they build their lives and their backyard with slave labour together. So I'd like to thank just quickly the people who have helped create this wonderful day. The parents, Kevin, Christine, and Brian and Gay, and Bernie and Carmel as well, who have brought these great people into the world that I call my mates. The beautiful bridesmaids who have looked after Stacey today and all through the preparations to make this a very special day for her and Chris. And I'd like to, at this point, to propose a toast to the bridesmaids. As it's my duty to do that, Chris, to the bridesmaids. And finally, I'd like to thank Dave, just for being Dave. I love you, man. I look forward to spending many, many happy times and many happy years with these two, as we just do have the fun that we've had over the past 9. In the case of Chris, don't even know how many years. I think it's 13 or 14, which is a great thing. And now, if you'd all join me, I'd like to raise my glass, and I'd like you to raise yours to our happy couple, Chris and Stacey, to their love, and laughter, and they're happily ever after. Cheers.